Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. It is Friday, the 27th day of January. It's National Chocolate Cake Day. Oh, man, that sounds good.
I love chocolate cake.
I do too, but here's the thing. We've been married 23 years. We've never finished an entire chocolate cake.
Well, who eats an
I'm just
entire
saying,
chocolate cake?
You have even made smaller versions for birthdays, and we'll have a piece for the birthday.
Well, that's
and then,
just it. Usually by the time
like
you
the
have
next
one
day,
piece, it's like, okay.
one more, and then it gets all dried up and we throw it away. I'm like, man, that's too bad. We should have like tiny chocolate cake. National Bigwig Day today, and a sad thing, Holocaust Remembrance Day today. I do have a guest joining me, Rick Leventhal. You might have seen him on TV. He's got a brand new book out. It's called Chasing Catastrophe. He's one of the guys that when there's a terrible thing happening in the world, they go, where's Rick? Send him there. And then he's got to go there. I just can't even imagine that job. I hope wherever he's calling from today is safe, but we're going to be chatting with Rick Leventhal about his new book, Chasing Catastrophe, coming up.
Alrighty.
Do you ever get credit card offers in the mail? Those are usually the worst offers. They spend thousands of dollars mailing them to anyone with an address. The people who actually read their junk mail end up paying the price in the long run. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a credit card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. bettercreditcards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. Scientists at the University of Maryland have developed a new type of paper towel that absorbs 3 times more water-based liquids using a thing called hydrogel. It's a gelatin-like material. That's kind of cool.
That's very cool.
Hydrogels have always been able to absorb more liquid than cloth or paper, but they become crumbly and brittle when they dry out. So to fix this, the team created a way to include the desirable properties of both products into one product. So it's part hydrogel, part paper.
Okay.
So it's a paper towel that's got hydrogel infused in it, maybe? I'm not really sure.
I know. That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. So you got the Brawny, the quicker picker-upper. I wonder what... No, that's Bounty. What is Brawny then? Bounty's a quicker picker-upper.
Brawny is a guy
Big burly
with the
guy.
axe.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to call
But
this.
it's strong.
Yeah, there. Oh, see, there you go. Brawny strong. Gonna have to work on a marketing campaign for the hydrogel. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com.
If your plan for the new year involves getting your financial life in order, I suggest you start with your mobile phone bill. How much do you pay every month? If that number is more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current phone. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying. Just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by RadioTravelGroup.com. Heidi, did you know that in the years following the sinking of Titanic, people claimed that the Titanic has been marketed as an unsinkable ship? Turns out they never said that. White Star Line used phrases like as far as it is possible to do and designed to be unsinkable when talking about their ship, but they never ever said it was unsinkable. Other headlines from the time period include words like nearly and practically when discussing the unsinkable claim. It was only after the ship was actually at the bottom of the ocean that people latched onto the idea that the Titanic was an unsinkable ship. They failed to use the company's actual phrasing when discussing the tragedy. So, again, nowadays we're all saying, oh, it was an unsinkable ship and it was sunk. They never claimed it was unsinkable. It was designed to be unsinkable, but it was clearly sinkable.
Not. Yeah, for sure.
We don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Troubled Amanda Burns, is that how you say it? Bynes? Amanda Bynes, that's how you say it, is reuniting with her fellow All That cast members in a first public gig in years. Heading to 90s Con this spring to be part of All That panel, along Cal Mitchell and Danny Tamborelli and Lori Beth Denberg. This is all people I probably know who they are, but I don't know who they are. Boy Meets World star Ben Savage is turning his attention from Hollywood to Washington. 42-year-old, he's 42 now? He's making a run for the House of Representatives in
Really?
California. Yeah,
Oh, that is crazy.
30th District, which currently is Adam Schiff. And finally, the 2-episode premiere of Night Court ushered in some impressive ratings for NBC. The workplace comedy, a reboot of the original that ran for 9 seasons in the 1980s, debuted with back-to-back episodes last Tuesday. The first episode delivered the highest rated and most watched programming of the night with a whopping 1.0 rating in the advertised target 18 to 49 demo. Anyway, it did pretty good. 7.4 million viewers. So second episode, 6.7 million viewers, which is still pretty good. And I'm excited to tell you I'm in the process of working on getting an interview with one of the people from the new show.
So I didn't
working
get
out
to
the
see it, but
details.
I'm very interested
I
in
love that
seeing
original.
how on
Yeah.
earth they make Dan Fielding work.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause,
You remember Night Court?
Oh, yeah. I just watched some
There's
episodes.
no way he can
Yeah.
be the same character.
No, not at all. Big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
Do you ever get credit card offers in the mail? Those are usually the worst offers. They spend thousands of dollars mailing them to anyone with an address. The people who actually read their junk mail end up paying the price in the long run. At BetterCreditCards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a credit card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. We all have these things called comfort foods.
Yes.
And some of us have things called comfort shows, things like Friends and Seinfeld and The Office that we're happy to watch over and over and over. More recent hit like The White Lotus or Wednesday, some kind of true crime show. No need to feel guilty, though. In fact, rewatching a movie or a series or a single episode that you've loved and you found it to enhance your well-being, that's not a bad thing. Robert N. Kraft, a professor of cognitive psychology at Otterburn University in Ohio, says repeated viewings of a familiar a bit of material helps fulfill our emotional needs. It also provides comfort, and it gives us a sense of control over our lives. And it connects us, with our past. In Psychology Today, he wrote, when rewatching familiar shows, we receive the stories and the emotions we expect. We know how the episode ends, and more importantly, how we are going to feel when that episode ends. Kraft says that's one reason we're more likely to choose comedies for repeated viewing instead of dramas and tragedies. Much like watching familiar holiday movies every December, we look forward to the positive emotional payoff at the end. What would you say is your favorite thing to watch that you've seen a bazillion times?
The Burbs.
Oh, no, that's not the one. You got it wrong.
That's not the one?
Not for you. No, the one where they're going to the couples retreat. You watched that thing a million times.
I have watched it a million times, but I've watched The Burbs probably 1,000,010 because we watch it every year as a family.
Okay, but the other one we've watched
When
like
I watch
4 or
Couples
5
Retreat,
times
I
a
have
year.
to watch it all alone.
No, I've watched it with you a lot. For me, by the way, I would say for a while there was the movie Groundhog Day. I would watch that just because, and then the movie Click is another one that I could watch over and over.
Yeah.
But Back to the Future, anytime I see that, if I can watch that, I'll watch that. All 3 of them, back to back to back to back to back. All right. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
If your plan for the new year involves getting your financial life in order, I suggest you start with your mobile phone bill. How much do you pay every month? If that number is more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current phone. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Our guest today, Rick Leventhal. You usually see him out like in the field doing something dangerous, and now he's got a new book talking about that. It's called Chasing Catastrophe, My 35 Years Covering Wars, Hurricanes, Terror Attacks, and Other Breaking News. Rick, are you somewhere safe?
I am. John, I'm in a warm, comfortable studio. Actually, I just finished my cup of coffee. Michael, where's my coffee? I only have an empty cup now.
Now, over the last 35 years, it seems like every time we see you, you're on the front lines of some terrible thing that's happening. You ever take that personally? Like, I just want to cover a cute puppy story.
No, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I always wanted to be where the action was. That's what drove me, and that's why I would wind up in all these places, because not only did I want to go, but I was actually pretty good at it. So I would get there and I would put a mic in my hand, give me a cameraman, and I'll go. And I'll tell you what's going on. I had great contacts in local, state, and federal law enforcement. They would help me out, with filling in some of the blanks. But I loved that rush of going to where the hurricane was about to hit, or to the scene of that awful incident, or overseas to where our troops were fighting. And to be able to tell their stories, to be able to tell any story, to me was a blessing.
You had a front row seat to history, and I'm glad that you put it in this book. What is the one thing that people ask you about the most when you're out and about?
9/11 comes up a lot, because that was a major incident for most Americans. And I was there. I was there on the ground. I was there when the towers fell. I was one of the people running from the dust cloud for shelter when the towers fell. I was there for weeks and weeks afterwards, covering the rescue and recovery and then the rebuilding. So, they asked me about that, and people asked me about Iraq, because I was embedded with the Marines in 2003, and I went back several times into Afghanistan as well. And, people are fascinated by war coverage, and to me, that was the epitome of my profession. So being able to be on the front lines and tell the stories of the guys who were doing the actual fighting was an honor and a privilege and an amazing experience.
For 35 years, you've covered so many amazing stories. Where do you even start with a book like this?
Well, 9/11 is the first chapter, a pivotal moment in my career. But, the thing is, I saved almost every one of my reporter notebooks from 35 years of covering news. I had boxes and boxes full of these things. And, I'd show up at an event, I'd crack open the notebook, and I'd start putting down all the key points. Like, what do we know right now about what's happening right here? And I would fill the first page with that, with the names of all the principals, and then I would start taking notes and press conferences and roughing out scripts and all that. So I had all these notebooks.
Nice.
And I just went through them and I categorized them by events. And then I went through and decided which are the biggest events, which are the ones, that I should make chapters out of. And then I just started working off of those notebooks. And then if I had blank spots, if I couldn't remember where we were or what happened, I would call one of the guys who I worked with, and he'd help me fill in the blank. So it wouldn't have happened without me being a pack rat and saving all those notebooks.
So there's hope for me. I'm a bit of a hoarder myself. What would you say is the first story that you remember covering that got that adrenaline pumping?
Well, the first major event probably was Hurricane Hugo in Charleston, South Carolina in 1989. That was a huge storm, and I was still in local news at the time, and I'd never covered a hurricane before. We were there for days waiting for it to hit, but the night that it did hit, we were back at our hotel, which is a few miles from the coast. We were in 120 to 130 mile-an-hour winds, and it's one of the stories I tell in the book is how I was trying to make my way back to my room from the satellite truck, hugging this brick wall as trees were snapping all around me and transformers were blowing and the winds, howling and the rain's hitting me sideways and it hurts. I'm literally hugging this wall inch by inch, making my way to a corridor that would take me to my room, praying to God that I would survive to see another day.
Well, I'm glad you did it, because without people doing what you do, we would have no clue what's happening in the world. And also, thank you for sharing all of the fun stories in the new book.
Thank you, John. I consider it an honor and a privilege, and I was able to see and do so many things I never would have been able to. I dropped out of college twice, and I hung and finished sheetrock for 2.5 years. So to me, being able to cover news was so much easier than what I had been doing before, but also, really meaningful.
Yeah.
Not that building homes isn't, because it is. And I still will work on drywall in the houses that I have. I still have those skills. But being able to go to the front lines, being able to be a witness to history, it was just an incredible experience. And I met so many cool people and so many interesting people. And those are, I try to convey that in this book. Some of the stories in the book are about the stuff that you never saw on TV, but the stuff that just moved me.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us, and I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, John.
The new book is out right now, Chasing Catastrophe, my 35 years covering wars, hurricanes, terror attacks, and other breaking news. I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Do you ever get credit card offers in the mail? Those are usually the worst offers. They spend thousands of dollars mailing them to anyone with an address. The people who actually read their junk mail end up paying the price in the long run. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a credit card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. bettercreditcards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Camels store water in their bloodstream, not in their hump. Their hump is filled with fatty tissue.
Really?
In other news, I may be a camel. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
NASA accidentally erased the original tape of the first steps on the moon.
What?
Yeah, I recorded a
Yikes.
episode of the People's Court on that tape or something. I don't know. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Your inner monologue operates at about 6,000 words per minute. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I don't think mine speaks that fast. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
There was no punctuation until the 15th century. How did they know when a sentence was
just
done?
run-on sentences.
And our final fun fact for you,
What's that,
Heidi.
John?
According to astronauts, space smells like a combination of diesel fuel and barbecue. That is a weird combination.
Really?
I guess I'll never know. Several fun facts.
I will definitely never know.
Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
If your plan for the new year involves getting your financial life in order, I suggest you start with your mobile phone bill. How much do you pay every month? If that number is more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current phone. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying. Just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. Yay! It's brought to you by Mintervention.com. Heidi, here's a question for you. When reading a restaurant menu, 60% of people get angry or upset when they spot this. What is it? Angry or upset. 60%
Angry or
of people.
upset?
Yeah, when they spot a spelling error. You ever do that?
I have never gotten angry
Yeah.
or upset
My
about a
sister
spelling
thought she
error.
found a spelling error. They forgot the T on just. Where's that? Over here. Heidi goes, you mean on Ajus?
If you're getting angry and upset over spelling errors, you might just want to check yourself.
And maybe you order the decaf.
Right? That is so disturbing.
Even if they spelled it wrong. Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way, courtesy of Mintervention.com.
Do you ever get credit card offers in the mail? Those are usually the worst offers. They spend thousands of dollars mailing them to anyone with an address. The people who actually read their junk mail end up paying the price in the long run. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a credit card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. bettercreditcards.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com. A McDonald's customer in Indiana didn't really want to complain when his order for a sausage McMuffin came packed with a bag full of thousands of dollars in cash. Yeah. A video shared by TikTok user Dookie Doughboy, am I really saying this on the radio? Shows him holding a McDonald's bag filled with what appears to be smaller baggies full of cash. While recording, the man says, "What is this? Why would they do this? You know how bad I want this money?" But he said he would return the money because he's a good person, I guess. When the man returned to the restaurant, he jokingly asked, "You guys laundering money in here?" Then he explained that the money turned out to be the cash deposit that was mistakenly given to him.
Oh my gosh.
Grateful employees rewarded the man's good deed with $200 and free McDonald's for a month.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. I can't even imagine. That's just crazy. Weird news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the list brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. These are expensive things that pay for themselves in the long run. We've got this today, and we might have to wrap this up later. I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of it, but they said, what are some things you've purchased that paid for itself over time because you saved so doggone much money? Somebody said quality cold weather gear. Says nobody, what? Not only does it work better and look better, I've had a couple of jackets that have lasted 5 years that I use a lot. Friends buy a cheap thing every year and throw it away every year. Said look in landfills. You'll see all kinds of cheap ones in there. Windows. They say replacing old single pane, old style windows like a waterfall of cold air coming on off of them. The noise from the street was obnoxious. Heating bill was cut in half, they say, when they replaced that. And we've got room for one more on here. A new bicycle. Says I bought a $500 bicycle as my main transportation. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're only making $8 an hour, it took some time to save up for it. With public transportation, though, at $250 a ride, the bike paid for itself in 3 months, and I still have it. So,
yep, I bet.
One last thing. Rechargeable batteries. They say Xbox players save millions every year when they're using those. So we'll have more of these to share in the future. It is several things that are expensive but pay for themselves in the long run.
If your plan for the new year involves getting your financial life in order, I suggest you start with your mobile phone bill. How much do you pay every month? If that number is more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current phone. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now your quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Greg Tamblin said, "Friends are people who know you really well and like you anyway."
That's for sure.
There are times several friends that I go, why do we like them again? Are we sure we like them? Do we have to be friends with them? Oh, they're your friends. All right, it's your quote of the day. Comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Well, it's great news, actually. Comes your way courtesy of radiotravelgroup.com. Here's the headline. Cancer death rate in the United States falls 33% since 1991.
Okay.
That is a huge, in 3 decades, 33%. The rate of people dying from cancer in the U.S. is declining. A new report from the American Cancer Society says the death rate has fallen 33% since 91. That has meant 3.5 million fewer deaths.
That's amazing.
They claim the steady progress is due to less people smoking, more people screening early diagnosis, and improvements in treatments as well. New revelations, I forgot that word for a second there. New revelations for prevention, for early detection, and for treatment have resulted in true meaningful gains in many of the 200 diseases that are all under the category cancer.
Nice.
Cancer death rates in children and adolescents have seen huge declines since the 1970s. Cancer death rates in children have declined by 71%. And 61% for those 15 to 19.
That's awesome.
Also, a 65% drop in cervical cancer incidence since 2012 among women in their 20s. The cancer types that now have the highest survival rate are thyroid at 98%, prostate at 97%, testis at 95%, melanoma at 94% as well. Current survival rate are lowest for cancers in the pancreas area at 12%. Cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States. I do have a link to that story, by the way. If you'd like to read the whole thing, you can find that in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.